Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is the Faceless Strategist, and welcome to one of my battles in Total War Warhammer 2. I'm playing as the Empire, and I'm playing against the... well, that is, I'm fighting against the Pirates of Sartosa. Now, this was a very close victory for me. The balance of power was almost non-existent. Basically, my army consists of 2, 4, 5 handgunners. I have Volkmar the Grim, and I have the this asshole, which is a fire mage. I have 4 halberdiers and 4 greatswords and 2, 4, 5 hellfire rocket batteries. Now they have mostly infantry units, they're mostly monster units. And I did not play very well, in all honesty. I did try to nuke, well, basically to kill off as many of them as I could. And they also have a full stack garrison, I believe, or another army coming. As you can see, they have these crabs. And they basically just wrecked my shit. I barely was able to hold the line. I did a sort of a checkerboard formation, but that didn't last very long, in all honesty. I did cast a bunch of spells, but essentially what happened was they outnumbered me, so they outflanked me. As you can see here, I'm setting my greatswords to deal with the Death Guard. I have these halberdiers here. I did send some to actually deal with the monstrous units. But as you can see, now I'm currently bombing the living crap out of the Mongols and their Death Guard. So I believe they had a fairly better army than me. And here I actually have my greatsword infantry. And yeah, they basically all got annihilated, more or less. Now, the first couple of flyers that actually came through, they got pretty much annihilated as well by the artillery and everything else. I'm actually holding on to my flanks, or bare minimum. I did use my mage to cast, you know, whatever magic I could click on, because this was real panicky and it was pretty late. As you can see, that completely wrecked them. I do throw in a bunch of flaming skulls, but ultimately I did end up losing a lot of units. As you can see by this, I already lost 200. But I mean, I don't really care that much about recruiting them again, but here we go. I'm actually retreating my gunners to a more favorable position so they can actually start shooting. But in the end, there we go. They're actually shooting, and my units are holding the line to the last man. I have Volkmar the Grim. Now this is a campaign that, and as you can see, they broke through here, and these guys just got totally annihilated. The important thing was to preserve the Hellstorm rocket battery, because that will actually cause the most amount of damage to them. Now I'm actually targeting this cluster here. I'm just trying to limit the amount of troops they can actually throw at me, any means necessary. And I believe I will cast and a bloated corpse. I know they had 2 of them, but I didn't even account for that. But as you can see, they fucking broke here. And I believe that's where I actually had my gunners turn to that side. I didn't even account for the bloated corpses. So this was, you know, half strategy, half, you know, just praying that it will work. And I'll actually mobilize my gunners to take them out, and they do a fantastic job for that. And I did wipe out the Sartosa militia, more or less, but as you can see here, this actually became a clusterfuck of just random bodies and everything else in between. And I'm still holding the line here with only one of these guys. So they're more or less already fucked to oblivion. You see, these guys are actually routing back, but I did manage to somehow win. There we go. Now I did use a bunch of spells, but essentially, yeah, I believe I killed a couple of their lords, but as you can see, they just broke upon my flanks. Now these guys were the real MVPs. I mean, they held the line against a lot of them. A lot of things, basically. I am playing on normal battle mode. I'm not particularly good at the game. But my flanks got exposed. They actually went into the woods, which fucked up my entire flank. I did think about corner camping, but it will basically be like this. So they would come through the trees. There would be less areas where they can actually come from, and I could have cornered camped it. Now that I think about it, I could have also cornered camped here, but yeah, I should have fucking cornered camp. I would have done so much better, but in any case, yeah, they would have to go uphill or around, while my Hellstorm rocket batteries did a lot of work. See, now this is why I wanted to actually record a couple of these videos of my battles, so you can actually see where I went wrong with something and hopefully learn something from it. But overall, I lost almost my entire army on this, and it was a very close Pyrrhic victory. But ultimately, I did win it, and I wiped out the Sartosa coast. I did use magic. I believe that my mage got like 100 or so kills. Yeah, almost 200. Volkmar the Grim got 17. But I mean, their troops weren't experienced as well. I was just overwhelmed with numbers. I always seem to pick a fight when there's 2 stacks in a garrison. Yeah, they got about 100 kills each. This wasn't my greatest moment, but there are some great victories which I saved replays to that I will also record just to show. And perhaps even give a couple of tips, if nothing else. Now basically what happened, this Sartosa militia is not undead, they're actually human. So I just used the Hellstorm rocket battery to wipe them out for good, because I didn't want to leave any survivors behind. And Pyrrhic victory. I'm just gonna end the replay. See, they did outnumber me, and they did do a lot of damage to my army. But ultimately I did win. I did lose one of the great swords here, but in all honesty this was nothing. This was all to stop the spread of the vampire corruption. Now just imagine how much I would actually have of my own units lost if I was playing as the Skaven.